I left the city, I've been browsing. Treading water that they drowning. My head on the swivel, yeah. It's only really my surroundings. They keep it all the way 1,000.
Hey everybody, it's Zach, aka Zach's Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, today we're going to be talking about James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. I literally just got done watching it a few minutes ago, and I've been, from all the trailers and things, I was one of the few people that were very excited for this movie. There's a lot of people that said the trailers weren't doing it for him, but for me, I enjoyed the trailers. I was like, okay, I love James Gunn from the work he's done with the Guardians movies, and to see him transfer from Marvel to DC, I was excited to see his take on the Suicide Squad. I'm probably one of the few people that really enjoys the first Suicide Squad movie. Not many people enjoy that movie, but I think Will Smith and Margot Robbie really steal the show in that movie and really bring the emotion of the story in that movie, and I just really enjoy that movie a lot. So going into this movie where it's and James Gunn's doing it with what we can usually expect from James Gunn is what we usually see with the Guardians movies, is very out there, colorful, and great stories, colorful, great stories, great action, and just great character building. So, going in this movie, there was a lot of moments, there's pros and cons of this movie. There are some parts of this movie I'm like, okay, what the hell's going on? Because there was some parts of the movie that me and my brother were like, what the hell is happening? And there's some part of this movie where I'm like, okay, I feel the emotion with the characters, and I'm feeling where they're trying to go with this story. And I'm also liking I'm liking the action. I'm liking all the stuff I usually would like with James Gunn, like the action, the characters and all that stuff. So I liked those elements, like the characters and the action. I already knew going into this there'd be some cool action sequences and great and possible great character building, because for the people that love James Gunn, we expect that from him. So and so going into this movie, I'm gonna start with the bad, get the bad out of the way. So my main issue with this movie is the whole there's one, we start off and this is gonna be a spoiler review, but yeah, it's gonna be a spoiler review. So, we start off this movie literally with, Amanda Waller pretty much getting everybody together to, to go, Rick Flag, pretty much they gets everybody together. They're going on a mission. We don't know what mission's happening, and we just don't know what's going on. All we know is that they're getting sent in, and that's pretty much it. We know that they recruit the one guy that, Michael Rooker's character, I forget who his character's name is, but he's the guy that bounces the ball in the trailers and pretty much, hits it off the back of the wall and without paying attention is able to catch it. I don't know what his abilities are, but so, we see him get, he's like, oh, I'm the one to be or he's like, oh, it's that time or whatever. He gets, the chip in the back of his neck, the exploding chip, and then he gets sent off with, some original members like Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn's there. Who else is there? Pete Davidson's character's there, which I have no clue what his character's name was. I forget. Some other people we have, Javelin was there. And I forget what Nathan Fillion's character was, who his character was, but he had the ability to, pop off his arms and stuff. And of course we have, Weasel there, and I'm probably missing some people. I think that's pretty much it. And also, the one alien, character that I guess that that has the orange face and then has the purple outfit on. I there's a lot of names that, they literally, in this scene I'm about to explain to you, they literally don't really care much about these characters. They're just showing that, people die in this movie. Pretty much, James Gunn said that in one of his posters or whatever, saying, no one's safe or whatever. Oh, this is a one and done or whatever. So pretty much, going into this, he was going to kill off characters. It's called the Suicide Squad. So I expected characters to die. But not this way exactly, because literally in the beginning of this movie, literally, everybody dies. This movie is out of order. The scene that we see in the beginning is a scene that we see later in the film. And that, totally, I was like, one, I don't know what's going on. This is throwing me off. Two, we're just expected to just jump into this and just, go along with the ride and go along with the fact that pretty much everybody dies. We have Weasel, he dies by drowning. We have, Pete Davidson's character gets shot in the face. We have, Javelin getting shot in the chest. We have, Nathan Fillion's character that literally like ends up being, his arms get shot and he feels all of his arms that are off of him like floating in the air. He feels all of his arms getting shot. We see, Michael Rooker's character. He pretty much swims away, but then he ends up getting his head blown up by Amanda Waller. And pretty much, like, the only people that are really still alive are Rick Flag and Harley Quinn, a part of that, that squad team. And then at the end, and then we see a different side of things where we see, apparently, Bloodsport, is a part of a different team, and Peacemaker is a part of a different team, and then we see, Ratcatcher is a part of a different team, and King Shark. So they're a part of like the B team. They're like the A team that had Harley Quinn, Rick Flag, and all them were like the distraction. But apparently, the plan wasn't supposed to go the way the plan went. Like, I guess, Pete Davidson's character pretty much set them up and set them up into an ambush. And while Bloodsport and Peacemaker, King Shark and Ratcatcher are on the other side of like the other side of the the island, trying to go get in there and pretty much take down this big creature, which we all know from the trailers is Starro. And that's not even really a spoiler. It was all out, like, we knew who the villain was. Pretty much, and also, so pretty much that's pretty much what happens in this movie. And then there's another part of the movie where, like, a big sequence happens, like, a big, like, holy shit moment with, like, a character dying that I was not expecting to die. And then it's like, 4 minutes earlier, and it, like, takes you out of, like, the big, like, emotional sequences, and that kind of screwed me up, too. And I'll get to that moment, like, of, like, that big emotional sequence that, like, it was still there, but, like, but it bounced out of there so quick. I was like, what the hell? But another thing is that, what was the other problem I had with this? I had another problem. I'm trying to remember on the top of my head what it was. So it was just, the jumping of the beginning of the movie being like halfway in the middle of the movie or whatever. And I don't even know, like the way, like, and also like, I'm trying to like, also like with, I really expected to really feel like the threat level of Starro, but we didn't feel that threat level to the end until the end of the movie, when we actually like see the people that had been experimented on, like and have been like Starros, that have been controlled by Starro. Until we see that moment, I didn't feel the emotion of this movie, of the threat level. So that was like the only time in the movie where I really like felt the threat level in that sequence. And there was like parts here and there where like they want you to feel the emotion, like with how like Ratcatcher explains about how like her father made the gear for her to be able to talk to rats and stuff, and there's like a bigger meaning behind it, like rats kept them warm when they had nothing, gave them stuff so they could survive to eat, and a whole bunch of different things. And I really didn't feel that emotion because that's like we're trying to get like we're trying to feel emotion to and emotion, like emotionally connected to these characters, and I really didn't feel it until later in the movie where we see we see I forget the word, we see like the tragedy that's happened with the guy, like when we find out like the US have been in cahoots making experimenting on Starro and using people as experiments for Starro and a whole bunch of things. Like, that was an emotional scene on top of the scene I'm talking about, which I'm going to get to with, there's a scene where we end up finding out that, Peacemaker is actually, had like a different agenda. Amanda Waller sent him in there, but also gave him a different mission to make sure that, I guess, the information of like the Starro program, where like the US was involved with what went down, pretty much like Amanda Waller wanted it to get destroyed or wanted it to be taken to her, but Rick Flag wanted to give the information out to the public because they deserve to know. He's like, I'm tired of keeping secrets. But of course, Peacemaker wasn't down for that. He's all for like the greater good of of America and everything. He's like, of course, as John Cena puts it, he's like the shittier Captain America. So so pretty much get like seeing that moment and seeing, oh my god, is he gonna kill Rick Flag, and then seeing the moment where he actually does kill Rick Flag. I felt that emotion. I felt for that character, for the little time we spent with that character. This movie really made me feel like it really builds up, with, being a familiar face to Harley, and, seeing the familiar face, with, Captain Boomerang, which, again, in the beginning sequence, that's like in when we just get thrown into, which we end up finding out is like towards in a little bit, like in the first half of the movie, Captain Boomerang dies. And I was like, really? You just that sucks. I understand you have to kill off people, but that must suck, joining the Suicide Squad, and you think this is going to be your big break, and then they kill you off like that. I understand it's the Suicide Squad, but I understand also you want it to be a one and done movie, but there might be people that want to continue with these characters on to if there's another movie, but they can't do that now because you killed them off. So I was kind of that kind of annoyed me a lot that they went that route of, oh my god, James Gunn's doing this, he doesn't want anybody to survive really, so he just killed off everybody to show that they're not afraid to kill people in this movie. They literally did that first half of the movie, which we end up finding out was towards the beginning, towards in the middle of the beginning almost part of the movie, where he just kills off everybody just to prove it's the Suicide Squad, no one's safe, look at the blood, look at the gore and everything. And I mean, the only thing that really saves this movie with the emotion, I felt, was the end sequence with when we see we see the real pain and suffering that the government was involved in with Starro, taking, children and, innocent, bystanders, pretty much, putting them in this experiment, having them being taken over, and they're just zombies. And then we end up finding out that, he wants to, release it to the public, but Peacemaker is just a piece of crap. And when Peacemaker kills, Rick Flag, I felt that emotion, especially I was like, holy shit, is he going to get away with this? And then we see a moment where did anybody see this? I was like, please tell me someone saw this to kill this ass. And then we see that, Ratcatcher sees him, and then she takes that drive and she wants to put it to the public, but he says, don't you dare do it. And then she ends up running off. And then there's a moment where she's just pretty much trapped, and he ends up getting to her about to, shoot her. And then that's pretty much where it ends. It says 4 minutes earlier, and then we see at the moment where the whole place blows up, and then we see Bloodsport drop from building, drop down and down and down through the floor, and is fine and keeps landing perfectly. He's almost like a rock. He's almost like he's on the rock elevator, and he just keeps getting dropped down the floor. The floor just drops and goes to each different floor, and he ends up dropping down and sees that, Ratcatcher's in trouble because Peacemaker's about to shoot her. And then we see the moment where early on in the movie, which I thought was a really cool, this is a really cool moment where they were talking early on, they were competing about, whose gear was better, and what bullets are better than each other's bullets. They were comparing bullets, saying my bullets are better because they're skinnier, your bullets are stupid because they're bigger. And pretty much they had essentially they had the same power, their powers were they're really good with any weapon. And I felt that was very Deadshot. Deadshot's really good with every weapon too. So I was like, okay. I was like, it's cool, but I was like, you guys kind of do the same thing. But of course, Bloodsport was a lot cooler than Peacemaker. I mean, Peacemaker literally had a hubcap on his head, and Bloodsport had the cool nano mask and the cool gun that could turn into different, he had the coolest costume by far. And I really loved Idris Elba playing Bloodsport. He killed the role. Out of all the characters that are my favorite characters, I would say Bloodsport was my favorite. So was Ratcatcher. So was, of course, Harley Quinn. So was Polka Dot Man. But the people that what really stole the show for me would probably be I don't even know. I just loved those specific people, characters I named. I just loved them a lot, and I love the actors and actresses that play those characters. They're just awesome. So, shout out to everybody a part of of this movie. You guys did a great job. But again, literally I have some problems with the movie. The only problems I have really with the movie is the whole jumping around. Sometimes it could be like it could take you out of the moment of a sequence, or like it could be like confusing to the audience of like, okay, what's happening. And it's always like a dangerous thing to do in movies when you do, oh, a couple hours earlier, a couple days earlier, oh, a couple minutes earlier, you know what I mean? Like it can always be like a downfall to a movie. But I mean, it wasn't too much where I'm like, okay, like whatever, but like I don't know. And it was almost like it felt like there was a lot of moments that reminded me of Guardians 2, like the scene with Harley Quinn, with, how she like is about to, like, I guess, this dude asks her to marry her, and like she's doing this montage. It feels very Guardians 2 when they're on Ego's planet, and it also when she's like escaping the place when she's being held captive, and then we see like the flowers everywhere and the pretty colors. It felt like Guardians 2 to me. There was just a lot of feel of Guardians in here. Like the formula was there, but like it didn't execute the way like of how good Guardians was. I feel like also this goes to show, like when a studio gives you everything, like all the room to do like anything you want, usually I feel like sometimes that's good. That means you have like the free creativity to do whatever you want. But I feel like, this goes to show again, like how good and like how much we have to respect how great Marvel is, with how Marvel Studios runs things, saying, I'll give you like your like the create like your free you can use all your creativity as you want, but you have to stick to a certain, leading into things. And I feel like that's why it's so good. But when you have something, you're just a company that just lets you do all willy-nilly whatever you want, sometimes that could be a downfall of, okay, where's this going to go? Is this just a one and done? Oh, you're just killing off all these characters, just because you want it to be a one and done. There's this, you feel that through the movie. But I mean, I did like the characters. Again, like my favorite characters were, Ratcatcher, Polka Dot Man, Bloodsport, and Harley Quinn. Those are like my favorite characters. I'm really annoyed we didn't get to see enough of Javelin. I'm really annoyed we didn't get to see enough of, enough of Captain Boomerang again, because I was excited that character was coming back. I'm annoyed we didn't get to see enough about with Pete Davidson's character. I'm annoyed we didn't get to see enough about Weasel, which we end up another that was another, like, I was annoyed because they killed off all those characters we didn't really get to see, but the funny thing is that Weasel ended up surviving at the end of the movie. He just woke up on the beach surviving, coughing up the water, so he actually was alive still. So that was a one win back they got for me. But like, I would say if it wasn't for the end of this movie, I don't know what I would really think about this movie. I definitely have to watch the movie again. By any means, this movie was not bad. It was not a bad movie, but there was problems with the whole jumping into things, not knowing what was going on. The whole a couple minutes earlier, like a couple hours late, like a couple hours early. I mean, like a couple minutes earlier, a couple hours earlier, a couple minutes later, blah 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 blah. Like that can really mess up a story and pull you out of emotional sequences, and that's the only thing I really can take out of it, was that, and the whole killing off characters in the beginning of the movie when we didn't really get to see them being used, essentially. But I'm just interested to know, but if it wasn't from that, that end finale where they choose to forget what Amanda Waller is telling them to do, and they do the bigger thing and try to take down Starro and do all the cool things, that really meant a lot to me. That was like, that moment saved the movie, in my opinion, the end sequence. Also, I really liked King Shark. The one moment where Peacemaker and Bloodsport are saying, "Oh, don't trust him. He's gonna try to eat you again." Because there's a scene where he tries eating Ratcatcher, and pretty much they're like, "Oh, don't we can't trust him or whatever." And she's like, "If I'm she's like." She says, "Oh, don't you have any friends?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "If I was your friend, would you eat me?" And he says, "No." And then that was a cute emotional moment. I felt a little bit in that moment. In the moment when he thinks he finds friends of his in the aquarium in the big room where Starro is being kept in that big building. That was a cute moment when he's feels like he's found his kind. That was another cute moment. There was awesome moments in this movie that I felt for the characters, like those two moments on top of the Ratcatcher moment, where she is it's all hope is lost moment, and she ends up using her rat attractor weapon, and pretty much takes down Starro, and she gets the the emotional flashbacks with her and her father, which, you know, Taika Waititi played her father. I thought that was cool. I thought that was clever, saying like, oh my god, that makes sense, because, you know, Taika is working with the Guardians and probably asked, you know, James Gunn about, oh, you know, like, what can I do with the Guardians in this movie that helps, you know, with when like it leads into your movie. So I feel like he's probably saying, oh yeah, you can come in here and make a cameo, blah 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 blah. I thought that was really cool and clever. Shows that they're like they became friends, you know, because they both care about the Guardians, because, you know, the Guardians are going to be in Thor: Love and Thunder, and I thought that was just clever. But, you know, other than that, I mean, also, like, another, you know, happy moment I had, like, out of, you know, like, the emotional moment with the, you know, the rat catcher sequence and the flashbacks and like, of the all hope is lost moment, and, you know, the two moments where I felt for King Shark, and then also with the moment where we end up, you know, seeing the emotion with, you know, Rick, you know, the moment where, you know, we see the people being experimented on, that I really felt like the threat level and like the emotion of like, oh my god, the US was a part of these experiments, and like, you know, the fact that, what's his name, I always forget his name, with Peacemaker, when he like turns on them, and like I really felt that those emotions, like, that saved the movie for me too, along with also the moment where there was another emotional moment, and I forget what it was. I'm trying to think another great moment of this movie. I'm trying to think. What was it? It's on the tip of my tongue. What was it? Oh, when, you know, again, you know, they get to the moment where, like, they shoot their bullets, and the Bloodsport's bullet goes through Peacemaker's bullet, because he had a thicker bullet, and he ends up getting him in the throat. And I thought to myself, oh my god, like, because right after, you know, he killed Rick Flag, I'm like, oh my god, there's going to be a Peacemaker series. He's not going to die. This is going to piss me off. But I guess the Peacemaker series, if anything, if I didn't know it, but it confirmed it for me now that it's going to be a prequel. But I guess before he ends up joining, like, the Suicide Squad. So I'm happy that ass died. He pissed me off when he killed Rick Flag. And, you know, again, I was shocked that I would have cared that much, but I did. I cared a lot when Rick Flag died. I was pissed. And I wanted, you know, somebody to get revenge, you know, for Rick Flag. So I was really, really, really happy when, you know, Bloodsport killed him. So yeah, guys, I mean, if anything, I mean, I would give this movie a B+. I don't give it like an A+, but I give it a B+. If anything, I would probably put the first Suicide Squad movie over this. And again, I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but I love the story of that movie. I feel the emotion. I feel like I felt, if anything, more in that movie, like, if you don't follow Amanda Waller's roles, she'll kill you. I really felt it that, I felt like, I don't know, I felt it more in that movie than this movie, but I feel like that when the scene where, like, she's like, god damn it, turn around, and when you get, like, that was not the orders I gave you to, like, try to take him down, get out of there, and then, you know, someone smacks her over her head. I felt that emotion where she's like just a cold-hearted woman, especially when she, like, threatened, Bloodsport's daughter. Actually, I don't know. It's hard because I don't know. I just love that first movie. I love Will Smith as Deadshot, and I love, you know, that portrayal of Harley Quinn in that movie. And I also love the portrayal of Harley Quinn in this movie. And Margot Robbie keeps killing it, like, every time she plays Harley Quinn. I don't know. This movie was not a bad movie. I would give it the B+. Honestly, it was not a bad movie. I think you would enjoy this movie. There's a lot of again, it's not bad. They're like minor nitpicks. The whole, you know, the movie starting and you don't know what's going on, and all the characters that we've never seen before dying, and like the whole, like, you know, that hours, like, oh, a couple minutes earlier, a couple hours like earlier, like all that, like, I don't know. Those are minor nitpicks. Other than that, this is a blast of a time. If you want awesome action, and just awesome funny moments, and just, you know, awesome characters, this is the movie for you. Out of all the DC movies or whatever that they have made in this, I think this is part of the universe, if I'm correct. I think these two Suicide Squad movies are like the best of I would say the best of like I don't know. The world of the Suicide Squad. Even I'm counting in Birds of Prey, you know what I mean, of the villain side of things, and like, you know what I mean. I would say I would probably put the first Suicide Squad, then this one, then Birds of Prey. I think that's how I would rank them if I'm being honest. But I'm really curious to know what you guys thought about this movie. Again, B+. Minor nitpicks. I liked this movie. It was a good movie. I mean, it was bad shit, of course. I mean, he really went all out, James Gunn, which I expected, and I enjoyed it. But literally, but if anything, you know what I mean, it's, I definitely got to watch this movie again. This is a definite movie I would definitely own, like, on Blu-ray, which I'm definitely going to buy it on Blu-ray, because I enjoyed a lot of sequences in this movie, and I just overall enjoyed it. It's a definitely rewatchable movie, and a B+ is great. But I really want to know do you guys think this movie was better than the first movie? Do you guys understand the nitpicks I have with the movie, but they're not, like, bad enough where I'm, like, gonna, like, trash the movie because it wasn't a bad movie? And also, like, or did you think the movie was a masterpiece? I'm really curious to know what you guys thought about this movie. And again, I want to know who your favorite character was. Again, you know, my favorite character was Bloodsport, Harley Quinn, Ratcatcher, and Polka Dot Man. Those were my favorite characters of this movie. Those are the characters that stole the show. Of course, King Shark as well. Those are the characters that really stole the show for me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, John Cena's Peacemaker, I thought was really cool, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I didn't like what he did to Rick. I was not down for that. I was like, dude, you're a piece of crap. You need to go. Of course, I'm going to watch the Peacemaker series, of course. Just because, you know, I do like the character, and that's what's good about the character, is because it's supposed to be a character that we don't like. So I do like that character, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do in this prequel series. And also, I'm kind of hoping we get another movie. I would love to see Idris Elba come back again as Bloodsport, and I would love to see, you know, just the people that did survive come, like, be a part of the next Suicide Squad along with some new members. Yet again, I mean, the whole killing off those characters, I understand, because, like, you have to show that no one's safe. I understand that. And it's supposed to be a moment like, what the F? It's ambush. Everybody's dying. Holy shit. Especially the Captain Boomerang sequence when he died. I was like, oh my God, they really just killed off Captain Boomerang, and the movie just started. So I think he wanted to give that effect of, holy shit, everybody's dying. What the hell's happening? We're just jumping into it. What's going on? But I don't know. I feel like it didn't really execute, because, again, I feel like it would have been better if we started off with, you know, in the beginning with, you know, Michael Rooker in the cage, you know what I mean, you know, bouncing the ball, and then we see, you know, Idris Elba's character, Bloodsport, you know, on the ground with the toothbrush cleaning, and then we see Pete Davidson's character coming out. I feel like it would have been better if we started off that way. But, I mean, that's just my opinion. Again, B+. This, guys, if you haven't seen this movie, go see it out in theaters. Or if you have HBO Max, go watch it on HBO Max. Go support this movie. Go spread, you know, some love, and, you know, enjoy all to the, you know, the cast and crew of this movie. They did a great job on this movie. Again, minor nitpicks I had about this movie. But guys, this was a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm gonna definitely be watching it again tomorrow, and I'll probably see this movie in IMAX, because this movie definitely has to be seen in IMAX, and because it had great action, great characters, great storytelling, and I just had an overall blast. I'm happy, you know, James Gunn got to really do this movie after everything that happened with Marvel, and I'm really happy that he just got to express his inner geek. I'm really happy about that. I love his movies, the Guardians movies. For people that don't know, I rank the Guardians movies as I love Guardians 1, and Guardians 2 is my second favorite movie. But without further ado, again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I would love to have you guys here, a part of this family here on this channel. We're almost to 400 subs. Right now we're at 355, and I would just love to have you guys, come on this journey with me. Well, all I do on this channel is spread love, positivity, and motivation, and pretty much, my goals with this channel is to, share my passion and my love for, pop culture and cinema, and also, pretty much spread love and positivity about following your dreams, because that's the most important, is following your dreams and not letting anybody stand in your way. So if you're all about that, guys, come on this journey with me. Hopefully you guys can follow your dreams, because I'm following my dreams right now. I'm living my dreams right now doing these videos. So, but without further ado, I'm going to end this video here. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the comments. Peace.